Hi, this is Robert Rapier with the R2 Energy blog. This week we're starting a new feature. My editor Sam Abro and myself, we're going to start a series of video clips where I answer readers' questions. And we've talked about this for a while. Some readers have asked for it. And so this week we're going to answer some of the common questions that come up that Sam has put together for me. So the first question is, what was the most important motivators which caused me to be interested in energy, and at what age did this occur? I grew up on a farm in Oklahoma, and as such I was quite interested in growing crops and food, and we fed ourselves on the farm. We were pretty self-sufficient. I was very interested in the whole food chain and the how people feed themselves, and as I went off to college it became less and less I became less and less self-sufficient, and that general problem has always been on my mind, is self-sufficiency and the world being able to feed themselves. And so when I went to college, the energy aspect of that too, growing up I was very interested in the energy that we used and where it came from. And when I went off to college, I was either going to do something in agriculture or something in energy. And I chose a research advisor who was working on an energy problem, and he was working on municipal solid waste, converting it to ethanol and to chemicals using cow microorganisms. So we had reactors that basically we got the inside, the juice out of a cow's stomach, and we took trash and we converted it into reactors into chemicals. And that eventually became the company Terabon. And that was the research I was involved in graduate school. So the original interest goes back to when I was a kid and just living on the farm. And to this day I still am very interested in agriculture, and still have a large garden, and always have. Second question: who and what has had the biggest impact on my life, bringing me to where I am today? It's hard to say there was one person. There were a lot of people that had impacts on me as I was growing up. A high school teacher who told me whenever I told her I was not going to college, really had a talk with me about what a waste that would be for me not to go to college, and that made an impact. Various teachers throughout college, various people that I've worked with. One of my first jobs, a guy telling me, you do what you say you're going to do, and don't overpromise and underdeliver. And that's something he always said, and I always remembered it, because you lose your credibility whenever you go out and you do that. The one I just blogged on a man named Graham Walker, who I worked for in Scotland, an Englishman, and he was always very pushing for decisiveness. And he would always say, make a decision. We have a business to run here. You can't be wishy-washy on your decisions. You have to make a decision to move on. And 20% of the time you'll probably be wrong, and we'll just live with that. And if you're wrong too often, you'll get replaced. And people like that, throughout my life have made a big impact. But it's hard to point to one person and say, that person drove me to do the things that I've done. What contributions have I personally made in terms of energy production? Mentioned the company Terabon. After college, I went to work for a company called Celanese. I was an engineer that made butanol. Butanol's been kicked about as an alternative fuel, but we made it the petrochemical route. I did a lot of energy efficiency projects whenever I was with Celanese. How can we make the product for less energy? How can we save on steam costs? And I did a lot of that throughout the 7 years that I worked for them. When I left Celanese, I went to work for ConocoPhillips, and I worked on their gas to liquids program. And that is taking natural gas, converting a synthesis gas, and then into liquid fuels via the German Fischer-Tropsch process. I worked on that a couple of years. I went to Billings, Montana, worked in a refinery for 2 years up there. I was in the economics group. We actually looked at the crude oils coming in and looked at the products and what they were selling for, and we had to figure out which crudes to buy based on the refinery configuration we had and the products' selling prices. From there I went to Scotland, and I worked in the natural gas fields in the North Sea. I was in charge of the process engineers there. And currently I'm Chief Technology Officer for a company based here in Hawaii. I evaluate projects. We're doing small-scale gasification stuff and some torrefaction work here. What am I trying to accomplish with the blog? Mainly, I'm trying to engage people on energy. First of all, I think it's a very fascinating topic. My editor, Sam Avro, thinks it's very fascinating. We know a lot of people who like to talk about energy, but a lot of people don't know enough about energy. So we're trying to raise the level of dialogue about energy in the country. And, so our leaders can maybe make better decisions. We have government leaders in the blog every day reading the posts. I certainly will have people disagree with some of my opinions, but as long as we can raise the level of dialogue and we can have some intelligent conversations, that's really what I'm after here. I'd love to be able to steer the direction in what I think is a more responsible energy policy than we've had in the past, and that is essentially what I'm trying to do with the blog. So those are the questions that I have in front of me this week. I want to thank Sam for putting those together. For future episodes, we want to send questions, if the readers would like to send questions, to ask@ConsumerEnergyReport.com. And we'll also have the address at the end of the blog post for this video. Thank you.